get some sleep tucked away last night after the...
Yeah.
If you would have told me on Friday, hey, don't forget, guys, over the weekend, the clocks are going to move ahead an hour, I would have said every politician in the country agreed like a year ago to say, no, we're going to abolish this.
Yep.
But, okay.
Fun weekend. We needed that shot in the arm Friday. You're watching college basketball, minding your business, and whoop, team goes from 9-1, and they might not be done. That was huge.
Oh, man.
Loved it.
I think I've looked at the details of that trade 10 to 15 times, and I'm still like...
Oh, it's a head scratcher.
What?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so the brackets were announced last night. Great job, by the way, from everybody on this network, on the shows, live right after. You're coming on, Pauly, and you're just trying to react to the games that they give you, and then the numbers that are slowly coming out here in Las Vegas, like Matt Humans, Tim Murray, Adam Burke, the fellas after them as well, did a splendid job for like 4 straight hours talking about it, and then Greg Peterson as well. A lot of takeaways today, a lot of observations. I will point this out. We only have 2 matchups as of right now with 1 seeds involved because Purdue, they must await their opponent. It's a play-in game. Same thing with Alabama. I think this will tell you a lot about the state of college basketball. Houston is laying around 19 in their matchup, 1 versus a 16, and Kansas is laying like right around 22. There was a time not that long ago where these 1 seeds were laying 30, 34, 35 points. And that speaks to, I think, the teams at the top of this sport and how we don't have the dominance that we, used to. And that Gonzaga, you brought this up last week, Gonzaga, but that was only 2 years ago. You're right. Those 2 teams were unbelievable, and they both made the title game. But you're looking at this, and so what's Purdue going to open against the winner of Texas Southern FDU? And then Alabama will get A&M, Corpus Christi, or Southeast Missouri State. That's one of my many takeaways from the bracket. We used to see 1 seeds laying, again, 30 or more points. Mm-hmm. Also, I believe the Western region is absolutely loaded. And when you look at this, Bart Torvik, who does this and sets numbers on college basketball, he tweeted this out after the bracket. Kansas is his 5th ranked team in the West. If you can believe that. 5th highest rated team. They're a 1. So I looked at all of his numbers.
Jesus.
He has UCLA number 3 overall, UConn number 5.
With the injuries too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Gonzaga number 7, St. Mary's number 9, Arkansas number 12, Kansas number 12, Arkansas number 18, TCU number 20. That's 7 teams in the top 26. That you look to the bracket above them, Houston, they have 3 teams in the top 18. Like it's every year the takeaway is like, how do you load up with one region and then there's another one that's like, that's a cakewalk.
Yeah, a lot of people outraged Kansas wasn't ahead of Houston, and Kansas didn't get Kansas City because they had the most quad 1 wins ever. But Houston was ahead of them as well. I thought the committee did a pretty good job. I don't think you had a lot to complain about if you didn't make the tournament, if you were on the bubble, especially where you didn't see a lot of mid-majors that were even under consideration. I don't think Nevada should have been in. I don't think Nevada has any business being in the tournament. Shocked NC State is not in the play-in game. NC State went 0-3 against Clemson, and they were hammered in all 3 games. But I do like, if you go back the last 3 years, you look at it, and Nevada got in over Rutgers, Oklahoma State. 2 years ago, Wyoming was the last team in over A&M. 3 years ago, it was Wichita over Louisville. So they are starting to give the lower leagues more credit and not just going for the big boys with the at-large.
Yeah, and you know how this works sometimes. And I already bet Arizona State. That was one of the first games that I bet last night. But you know how this works on occasion, Pauly, in this tournament. The team that you're going to hear this narrative from, how'd they get in? They don't deserve to be in. Like those Syracuse teams with Jim Boeheim. How many times did that happen where it's like, wait, Syracuse is going to get another pass into the tournament, and then ups here they are in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
You know?
12 seeds are loaded. Remember, 12 seed has won a game 32 of the last 37 tournaments.
Yeah.
The 13 seeds are very good. I hate what they did with the Duke Oral Roberts matchup and Florida Atlantic and Memphis. Hated it. All of those 2 matchups where you just look, and this is how they continue to punish the little guy, where Oral Roberts is 30-4, 12 seed. Charleston, 31-3, 12 seed. Florida Atlantic, again, the most disrespected league year in, year out is Conference USA. 31-3, 9 seed, and the best 8. Allen Boston has Florida Atlantic, Kansas State, pick 'em.
And K-State's a 3 seed.
And they're a 3 seed.
Yeah.
And it also shows you how good that league is. Everything he said about UAB was true. Florida Atlantic were underdogs in that title game against UAB. But this league wins a game almost every year, and they have a lousy seed, and they still can't get respect. I mean, what 33-1, maybe a 7 seed? Come on, guys.
Yeah, probably.
It's ridiculous if Florida Atlantic's a 9.
The East region was the last region they ran down yesterday, right? And so I couldn't even catch my breath. They show the Purdue game, who they're going to play, and then it dropped Memphis, Florida Atlantic. You're like, oh my God, they're going to get Florida Atlantic, this red-hot team that just clobbered Houston?
Yeah, Memphis should not be an 8.
No.
Yes.
They're better than it. And by the way, this is, again, a very easy prediction. A lot of people are going to pick Memphis over Purdue. Like, before these games even tip off. I don't even know if Memphis beats Florida Atlantic. But I'm saying when they fill out the brackets, a lot of people are going to have Purdue losing to Memphis there. But then, so that game was announced, followed by Duke Oral Roberts. You're like, wait a second here.
Yes.
I got to recover from Florida Atlantic getting Memphis as the 8-9 game, and then you're going to give us Duke against Oral Roberts, which, by the way, I agree. I mean, Oral Roberts is a fantastic 12 seed, but Pauly, come on. I mean, that matchup is phenomenal in the first round. I also think Duke is underseeded.
Yes, I agree.
I thought for sure the committee was going to make them a 4 seed.
Yep.
The way that team is playing basketball, you go back to like February 1st or anytime like in the middle of February, they are playing some of the best basketball out of any team in the country. And we saw what they did in the ACC tournament. Conference is down this year, but they were awesome. And when they bring their A game with all that talent, they can win the entire thing. So, and that's the team that Oral Roberts gets right away. But the back-to-back 1-2 in the East, just phenomenal.
How about the love affair with the Mountain West that the committee has?
And by the way,
they got 4 teams in last year and embarrassed themselves and couldn't win a game. 2 years ago, the Big Ten embarrassed themselves and were so bad. And the Big Ten has had plenty of issues in the tournament. But then they come right back and they put 4 more teams. That's the thing about the Mountain West. It's the opposite of Conference USA. Conference USA, I'll run it down later. They usually win games in the tournament. They're a 13 or a 14. Mountain West, they're in the 6 through 10 range, and they can't win a game.
So
pick them. Sometimes they're favored. And then they put 4 more in, and they give them the benefit of the doubt.
What do you make about some of these point spreads then? I already told you I bet Arizona State last night. That number is going up.
Well, I can't believe Utah State's favored.
And by the way, that I saw it tick to like 2.5.
Yeah, right.
Utah State's a good program, a good team.
Right, they are, but
they are.
The history of this conference, you have to factor it in.
Yeah, I don't think they should be favored against Missouri. In another one, I'm a little conflicted here because I wanted to fade the Big Ten as well.
Yeah.
Northwestern against Boise State.
Yes.
I did grab Northwestern at +1.5, but I have no faith that Boise's going to win that game. I can't sit here and tell you that Utah State should be favored over Missouri and they're going to win that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, you're looking at this, we're thinking you have all the teams you want to bet on before the brackets come out, and then you just see the job that the odds makers did, and you think, well, there goes that. Yep. I mean, the team that impressed me the most this week was Kent State. And I'm like, they're going to win a game. But then they're only getting 4 points.
That's it, yeah.
I mean, they went to Houston, and it was tied with a minute left. They went to Gonzaga and almost won the game. They took on Toledo in the MAC title game. Toledo had won 17 in a row, and they ran all over them. I mean, that team is good.
Yeah, okay.
But then you see that what they're at, they're only, even though they're a 13 or a 14, they're only getting 4 points in that game.
I'll give you another one. So, Furman and how much they can score.
I like that team too. But look at the point spread.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
that's a 4-13 matchup.
And that's another one too. Virginia got a 4 seed.
Yes,
that's too high.
Yes,
they should not be a 4 seed.
They should have flipped them and Duke. Give me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Contrasting styles.
Yes,
Oral Roberts, Virginia's a better matchup.
Bingo.
But you see Furman's only catching 4.5 in that game too. So the odds makers are all over it.
Yeah.
But you just see the depth and how good the 12s, the 13s, and the 14s are. And then once again, Colgate's a 15, which I can't believe. I mean, the number 1 in the country in 3-point shooting. I know the Patriot League isn't that good, but I'm disappointed Colgate's a 15.
That's another one, too, that a prediction here, that Texas is going to be a very popular pick to come out of that region based on what they did in the Big 12 tournament. Mm-hmm. And they had a super solid year anyway. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what Iowa was like last year, although Iowa was a 5. Remember that? They were red hot closing the season. They won the Big 10 tournament. They were very, very good. They get a 5 seed. If I recall correctly, like I think I bet Kansas like -120 as a 1 seed to make the Sweet 16 last year. It was something stupid.
Okay.
Because the thought was they're going to get Iowa, and Iowa can beat them. And Iowa lost in the first round. I'm always very scary about those, suddenly hot teams that become very popular and everybody's picking them to make a long run.
Yes. And the fatigue factor, because you put so much in to winning these conference tournaments. And maybe sometimes you played on a Sunday as well. Yep.
Visit VEASAN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VEASAN sports betting podcasts.